number 17, high on life, a teenager, ready to take on the world, just trying to figure yourself out, turning into a beautiful young lady or a handsome man. And all of a sudden, you wake up in the morning and your hands are swollen. As the day progresses, all of a sudden my whole body is changing now. I'm having this pigmentation throughout the body. There's nothing beautiful about me anymore. And that is what I used to see in the mirror. Doctors told me, here are steroids and it's going to manage your disease. I was like, okay, Farah, you're doomed. This is it. I mean, that's the worst thing you could hear. At this moment, you've just tried everything under the sky. You would tell my parents, try sand, and they would use it. You tell my parents, try water, they would use it. And I would be like, this time it will work. This time it will work. This time it will work. But nothing used to work. Nothing. Nothing. You don't know how strong you are until being strong is the only option you have. And that was my only option. And damn, I was strong. Thank you. After 13 years, I heard about stem cell treatment. I started reading about it, I researched about it. And God has an angel working for me, for his soldier that is standing in front of you today. An angel by the name of Governor Hassan Ali Joho. He's the one who sponsored my medical fund fully on his own, and I was able to go for the treatment in June this year. Alhamdulillah. I cannot explain. Thank you. I cannot explain the joy, the gratitude I have, not only for him, but for the millions of Kenyans who supported me online. People who don't know me prayed for me.
Depression. Depression is real. Depression is real. When I was talking about men get sad, I was really talking about depression. You see, when you're depressed, from a person who has been depressed, you cannot even explain to someone how you feel. You can't. You just don't want to wake up in the morning. I don't want to ask people who has been depressed, but it's good. If you've been depressed, you know how it feels. You don't want to wake up in the morning. Do you know how that feels? You're awake, but you don't want to open your eyes because you don't want to face what is going on. You don't want to look at people in the eyes. When you do, tears profusely just start running down. I speak of this so confidently because I truly believe that these are all challenges that we face, and if you come out of them, you only come out of them way stronger and way wiser.
Like he said, statistics show that men are the leaders when it comes to committing suicide. For attempts, I think women are there. We're called dramatic and emotional. You're like, I can't do this anymore. But you want someone to listen. Men don't do that. Men are always just like keeping it in until at some point they just have to do something about it. And men are doers. They're not consultants like us. So I feel like women would be like, Sasa Aisha, if I want to kill myself, Sasa nikijinyonga, and then how will I look when I die? Things like that. But for a man, he wants it quick. He's like, phew, done. Yeah, and I feel like sometimes they have access to these things that we don't, like guns and stuff. And so Aisha and I used to work at the same place, and I'm not gonna mention where the place is, but we had a history of suicides, like over the years. Just stress and depression and stuff. And like he said, so many people, you can't tell that they're suffering inside. They're the happiest, they're the loudest, they're the jokers, but like deep down, they're just going through so much. And out of 5 of those suicides, I believe 3 were men. And it was a bit scary that one of them actually did it consecutively for 3 days, trying killing himself until it finally worked. I think for a girl, you just give up. You'd have a story to tell. You'd have more to go and talk about with your friends and everybody. But for men, they're doers, but they do by themselves. They feel by themselves. And I feel like women, we should be a safe place for men to come and talk to us.
At 19 years of age, just going on, I had my first smoke of marijuana. It took 1.5 hours for the lady at the university, another student, to talk me into doing that. I was in trouble with drugs within 3 months. Where was it all going to go? How are you? I'm fine. I'm okay. Within 4 years, I was one of the biggest drug dealers in Sydney. I'm talking about where this stuff starts to happen. Twice, I've had guns pointed at me. Not a safe or good place to be. Broken relationships. How do you love a woman when you don't love yourself? When you want money so bad that you're prepared to sell yourself out for it. At 24 years of age, I was in such trouble. I'd nearly made it to prison. I'd nearly become dead. I was so sick from drug use, and somebody saw something inside me and handed me a motivational book. I had started my first ever full-time job at 25. And someone said, "Here, kid, you're pretty smart, read this." And little by little, the positive started to come in and replace the negative soundtrack.
I am the founder of Fierce Lady Official. It's a communication network that is going to advocate for gender inclusivity, women empowerment, and education in Kenya, and in the future, all of Africa. My concentration is in Africa because I'm passionate about it. And as much as a lot of people are like, oh, there's so much problems or whatever, it has to start with us. We have to make the change. We have to be the change we want to be. And we have to empower the boy child. You know? Yes. We've been empowering ourselves. I think I was talking to Susan and even Mudhoni. Like, you'd have events, women empowerment, just women sitting together, talking and talking. Why not invite the men? Let them see and understand what exactly is the problem and how they can relate and how they can solve the problems that are around. So the few gentlemen that are here, I wanted more, but it's okay. We can start with this, right? We can start with a few. Yeah, you know? What? Yes. So make sure after this you go out there and tell them, listen, next time when Fierce Lady Official is in town, you better come. Born and raised in Mombasa, actually. And I studied in Malaysia and Germany, and I'm very passionate about public relations and communication, but I also concentrated a lot in cultural diplomacy, which is why I opened this, because cultural diplomacy taught us how to bring understanding, harmony, and equalness in our community and in our society. How do we do that? By understanding each and every one of our culture. Like this room here is the perfect example. We're all from different cultures, different beliefs, different professions, and we've come together to network, to talk, and to get empowered.
I would say with Shamelessly Opinionated is a YouTube series I do with actually one of the speakers, Raisa, and Mina, who is here, is we did an episode on mental illness, because this year alone, all of us are so affected. There isn't a single person in the group who hasn't lost a friend this year to suicide, or knows people that they learned were going through something, and you're so close to them and you had no clue. So that was one thing that I did to kind of raise awareness about it. But other than that, I think it's usually more personable. Like for me this year, it's been more of making an effort to just text your friend and not just say hey, and like actually check up on people and let them know, hi, I'm checking up on you and I want to see if you're sour.
I think I could say that I address them with how to be able to get over loss, like how to be able to use your loss and better the lives of everyone else. Because as you guys might have heard, I lost my mom, and it wasn't the best time for me, to be honest. It was, and especially because it happened so quickly, and you don't even have that time to say goodbye. This is coming from someone who is alive and kicking, and then before you know it, you're flying across the world, and then you're coming back without her. So I feel like I used this to just address the fact that it's okay not to be okay. And I always say it, like, if you're not okay, it's okay, as long as you're trying to be okay, as long as you're trying to use everything around you to get to a better place.
I like this type of mixing. I was telling Rahma today when we were coming here, as our girls grow up, I would like them to be in this type of environment where you support each other and you encourage and inspire each other. And yes, we men also have our own mental problems. I have so many, I don't know where to start. Okay, but I read somewhere that the best mental exercise you could do was to play Sudoku. And now my wife has threatened to divorce me if I play Sudoku. So, thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
At the time I was 22, I was pregnant with a baby because I was now expecting this love and affection to be filled in by an insecure man, which is a dangerous recipe. So it was a very emotional time, getting pregnant at 22, letting down the family, and just being the disappointment. So that was when, I guess, the discussion of mental health comes in. I felt like just depressed. Yes, suicidal thoughts. You think of the worst things at that point. So tying in mental health and experiences of growing up and feeling not valued as a girl child, and tying it into, okay, I actually had a baby with a man who never had the empowerment or never had the lessons of how you should treat a wonderful, hardworking, smart woman. In two very serious relationships that I've been in my career, in my life, and even through my career, chasing my passion and not having that support from the second relationship that I was in. So I know what it's like to be on both sides of the mental health, at the same time trying to deal with being an empowered woman and dealing with men who are not empowered at the same level.